After many years of intensive construction work, I have now managed to turn my workshop from chaos into a more orderly mode in which furniture making and other projects are much easier. There is now enough space for the children to carry out their own projects. We immediately tried out these new possibilities and fulfilled a long-cherished dream. We built our own little marionette theater. If you grew up watching the performances and television programs of the Augsburger Puppenkiste, you will inevitably see their wonderful work of art as a role model. Unsurpassed, professional, highly artistic, so it's better not to try an imitation and do something completely different. That would be sensible. However, reason is not always the sole motive for projects. When I was 9 years old, I was given 3 simple marionettes. I improvised a stage and made little performances for my family and friends. But I was never satisfied with my stage, so I rebuilt it several times. My technical possibilities were limited, but finally I managed to build a stage with box lids like the Augsburger Puppenkiste. I recently found this stage in the attic again. As I looked at it, I realized what I was thinking at that time. I didn't want to copy the Augsburger Puppenkiste, but wanted my own variation of it. So of course it had to be called Burlafinger Puppenkiste. So my stage was a little homage to the great role model, an acknowledgement of its standard in matters of marionette play. It can work that way again, I thought to myself. We started by planning the size in relation to the marionettes. They should initially be the old ones until we might build some new ones. 28 centimeters tall, with 7 strings and simple T-shaped controllers. If you assume that there are only a few spectators in a flat auditorium, the stage is ideally 90 centimeters high, the opening 80 centimeters wide and 55 centimeters high. Sure, it can be bigger, but with these moderate dimensions, the stage background can be limited to a manageable size. In particular, if children are to control the marionettes, the stage background must not rise too high. A classic stage has not just an opening, but a frame, similar to a picture frame. In our case, of course, the box lids have to be attached to the outside. And you have to be able to open and close it from the inside, for which I provided the hinges with rod extensions upwards. To the right and to the left of the stage and above it, additional elements were necessary. Following the basic idea of an easily assembled and dismantled stage, I connected the individual parts with threaded screws and wing nuts. Between the side panels I attached a steel rod for the curtain. The rods for opening the box lids were then given small levers. Now it was time for making the back part of the stage. It should form a unit with the stage itself. I made 2 neatly joined pieces of squared timber, onto which we then screwed some panels as a stage and as a rear wall. Again, everything can be easily dismantled and is connected with carriage bolts. I soon left the well-known paths of woodworking with this project and had to learn new things. For example, sewing with the machine. A curtain had to be made. There are different opinions about the right color of the curtain for a marionette theater, but red is always a good choice. Then we had to do some painting work. first the frame, then the other black parts of the proscenium. I carved the sparrow of Ulm as a symbol for the city of Ulm in the middle of the frame. Finally, the box lids had to be painted. The wood grain should not be too realistic. According to the genre, a certain amount of abstraction and simplicity is more pleasing than photorealistic art. The box nails correspond to my old stage from 1983. Then much fabric had to be hemmed again to cover the stage all around. At that moment I had serious doubts as to whether the workshop was really the right place to set up the stage, but for the time being we stuck to it. The box lids were then given the writing with reference to our new place and at the same time as an homage to the model. In the beginning we still had to learn a lot for building sets and carving marionettes. There was a great lack of experience among all those involved, and there was not enough space. So we decided to move the marionette theater one floor up in order to have the workshop free again. Then we performed a first short improvised piece. We also installed some lighting. By this time we had made 3 marionettes of our own, namely Lucy, Tim, and Joseph. While Tim and Lucy are hanging on simpler 7-string controllers, Joseph has one for 10 strings, and it takes longer to get used to it. Now we have to practice a lot, and above all, build more marionettes.